welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you guys are seeing my face for the first time, hi, my name is Maya and I like to talk about books here on the internet. Welcome to the chaos of this channel. Let's just start there. It is chaotic and it'll continue to be so probably for the rest of the month. That kind of sums it up, but let me give you guys a little bit more context. So I am currently getting over some sickness and some physical health issues, and while I do that, my mom has so graciously allowed me to come back to live with her in her house and just kind of figure out what is happening and recover, because hers is a 1-level house, mine is a 3-level at the very top apartment. So someone with respiratory issues was going to have a time of it, so we decided that we were gonna just like cut out all of the stairs and just come back. Also, I have some meds that I'm on that we didn't know how I was gonna react to that. There's a lot of notifications coming in. I turned off that sound. There we go, I'll just mute the system. I am having a time with the background, with my computer system. I have my computer pulled up onto Discord. I feel like it would be a good time to kind of regroup and strategize. And while we have made some good progress with some books, and we have already gotten some destination postcards, I feel like maybe I could get more than I think with the power-ups that I still have left that I have not touched, the power-ups that I have gained, and the books that I have brought along with me to read. So I think we can do a little bit more damage than we have been doing. So I want to try to do some damage. I want to cause some chaos, okay? I want to embody Loki. I want to be that troublemaker. I want to cause chaos. I want to have some fun doing it. So we're going to try and embody that and also, you know, recover and do all of the physical health things that are needed, and of course, you know, continue to live life, because life stops for no sick person. So we do have work that still needs to be done and life that still needs to be lived and chores and errands and stuff, but also, you know, using any and every excuse to read and cause a little bit of mischief and chaos in the world of this readathon and getting our team some points. So let us regroup, strategize, and find out what exactly we have accomplished. Leg 1 was Oz, the Emerald City, and I did read the book for this prompt, and I did not use the power-up cards. That was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, and I gave that a 5-star. Leg 2 was Basgeith. I did not read the book for this prompt, and the prompt is to read a book with a violent word on the title. I am thinking of switching out the book here. So for this prompt, instead of The Wicked King by Holly Black, I have decided to read The Tarot Cafe Volume 1 by Sang-soon Park, Leg 3, and that was The Capital of Panem. I do have my book for this. I'm not switching this one out. Pan's Labyrinth by Cornelia Funk, and this was inspired by the movie written by Guillermo del Toro, and I am pretty far in. Like, I will be able to probably read this in 2 more sittings. I am a slow reader, but also part of the slow reading process is I like to sit with the world and the characters, and for as kind of simple as this story may be, the writing style is very elevated and poetic, and I love that for this book. It just matches the vibes of what this book is about. So I am very excited, and I will be reading this for that prompt. Leg 4, and that was The Shire. I have read the book for this destination, and that book was Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, and I also watched the movie alongside that. Leg 5, which one was this? Oh yes, Leg 5, The Wall. I had no idea what this was. Apparently Game of Thrones thing. I don't know what it was, but the prompt for that was to read a book with a chilling cover. That was going to be Pet Sematary by Stephen King, and I was going to say going to be because I still have not started this, so I'm either going to start and finish it or do a chapter to start, because I still want to read this book, but again, I'm a slow reader. I take time in the world. I may switch it out for the Tarot Cafe Volume 2. This is the special edition. Isn't this so cute? Isn't this, well, okay, cute, maybe not cute, but isn't it like just, it's so satisfying. I can't really tell you why, but it's just a very satisfying cover to me. Anyway, I may switch it out for this because this is a manga. It's easier to get through for me. So strategy, that's kind of what we're getting to. At this point, it's a lot of strategy. For Leg 6, we have Ketterdam, and I already have a book for this, and I'm not switching it out. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Okay. This was like kismet, honestly, because I did not know what the destinations were, and I did my TBR video. This is the book that I originally put for it. And then immediately the little video that we got for that like started to play, and I was like, I'm psychic. I am psychic. This is meant to be. I am meant to read this book. That way I could go on and read Cricket Kingdom. It's just meant to be. Leg 7. Oh, I love that we're on Leg 7. The last one that you guys knew about, and that was Camp Half-Blood, and that was 2. Or maybe I didn't tell you guys. Maybe I just knew at the end of that week, but at the end of last week, we got to Camp Half-Blood, and of course, read a book with a celestial or godly word in the title. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I got the second book thinking that I was going to like try and collect a fair few books of the 2024 Goodreads Choice Award winners in the categories that I liked, and I would read them for like a vlog or something like that, like a cutesy little idea last year. Well, to my shock and surprise, which I don't know why, because it probably actually said sequel in the description of the thing, I learned that I got the sequel of this book. So I was like, okay, time to get book 1. You're a series, let's go. And so we're gonna read this for that prompt, or we're gonna try to read for that prompt. At some point, there will be a destination for the prompt of a romance in the book, and that is when I will finally get to read Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. Finally. Oh my goodness. I have been dying to get my hands on this book. However, also, I do want the other destinations. So yes, of course, I did read for those. And then also, I had a special video concept that is already out now, my first ever collab, that I had to read another book for. So that was a very great experience, by the way. You should definitely go check that out. I did a collab with Ashley Hart's Reading, my first ever collab, and we swapped 5-star recommendations. So yeah, go check that out and see if we can trust Ashley Hart's recommendations. Spoiler alert, yes we can. Okay, so anyway, so that's for that. Then we got Leg 8 last night, or Destination 8, whatever I've been saying, just for continuity. And this one, I am so confused. I don't know what this is in reference to at all. Sevrenage? I don't know. But the prompt is to read a low-rated book that you still think that you would like. And this is going to be interesting, because I am not in my place of residence where I have this book. And I had all of the books already like in a pile with the sticky notes on it. So I have no idea what book I decided to choose for that. So again, we may be switching out Destination 2 book for this so that I can read this for that prompt and use the power-up cards for that. So that may be looking like what is about to happen, because also for the third power-up card that I have that allows me to switch the books and have it still count for the prompts, I have brought with me, to no one's surprise probably if you watch me long enough, I couldn't not, okay? I have zero excuse. I really want to read this book. I do. I think it's going to be great. It is going to be one of those where either I'm not going to want the camera on the experience at all, or I'm going to be picking up the camera every 2 sentences. So we'll see what happens with that. So to recap, I have Destination 1, which was Oz, and I read Little Fires Everywhere for that book. I gave it a 5-star. I read for The Shire, got that postcard, and I read Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. It was a reread, a childhood favorite, 5-star all around. And so I have to read for the other destinations, and from now on I will be submitting in order because that is what it says to do, and I completely did not see that part of the instructions in the last few times, so maybe it's just a newer thing that is happening because maybe there's duplicates being submitted. So and not on purpose, but just like, you know, you forget about those things. So okay, so for Destination 2, I have to read a book with a violent word on the title to get Basgiath. So I think I'm going to be locking in. I am going to switch to If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio because this is the book that I have in hand right now. We have the capital book, and that is Pan's Labyrinth, and we are almost done with this one. So that is in the queue for this week. For Leg 5, it was The Wall, the chilling cover. I'm gonna read the first chapter of Pet Sematary by Stephen King. If I can get into this very quickly, I will keep it. If not, I will be using the power up and switching to the Tarot Cafe. Then we have Leg 6, which is Ketterdam, and we're gonna be keeping Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo because I've already started and because I really just wanna read this book so I can finally finish the duology maybe this year, hopefully. And then for Leg 7 for Camp Half-Blood, we're gonna keep The Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Actually, oh no. Okay, I like it. I like the writing. I like that there are large margins, bigger font. We're keeping it. We will keep it. And then for Leg 8, which is something that I have never heard of in my life, Sivranage. Goodnight Nurse. I don't know the name of that. We are switching out one of the books because I don't have my lowest rated. Could be some issue with the other books that I have here because they're pretty popular. I just don't see many of them being under the 3.5 scale, and also intrigue. I'll take the Tarot Cafe, so we'll do the Tarot Cafe Volume 1. And with all of that, here are all the books that we have to start and complete by the end of the month. This looks like a lot. It is a lot. Pray for my sanity. We're just going to take it one book at a time, you know? It may be Monday after 5 p.m., and I haven't read at all today because I needed to do doctor's appointments and just other things of life. But I do think, realistically, I can maybe finish these two and get a little bit more into this. I love how I'm like showing the sides. I could finish Pan's Labyrinth and the Tarot Cafe pretty quickly, and then I could move on to Six of Crows. Not today, but just this week. The rest, we're gonna be living on a hope and a prayer that I can start them very soon. That is the plan, that is the goal, those are the books. That is the strategy. Yeah, I'm gonna sign off now. I'm going to start reading more into this world tonight, and I will let you guys know my thoughts. I actually have quite a fair bit of them since the last time I updated on this one, but also I feel my voice giving out, and I just kind of want to save it and read, and then let you guys know what is going on. But let's just say there's so much about this world since we last talked, but I feel like I'll go into better depth when I'm more ready to speak for a longer period of time. I've spent a long period of time just kind of like doing the strategizing, and that I think is all my voice can take for this evening. So I will bring you guys the update tomorrow. Pretty sure I still won't have the book done by then, so that'll be great. And even if I do, I can still summarize everything, then get my rating, and then give my thoughts. So we'll do that. See you guys in the next update. Hello, welcome to another reading update. So I have gotten further along in Pan's Labyrinth. I'm literally so close. I am just a few chapters away. Look at that. Look at how close we are. Oh, so close. And it is so good. Okay, a full disclosure, I tried to already film a clip kind of talking about this book, but then I got like a little too heated, I think, against one of the characters that probably didn't deserve it, and I felt like I sounded like a little bit like a witch, so I decided to kind of scrap that and give it another go of things. So I will just say this. Anything that I say about this book may go into spoilery territory just because of the nature of what I have already said. That's pretty like non-spoilery setup context for y'all, but the rest, I have so many thoughts and so many opinions, and I want to share them, but I also know that they could be spoilery. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do another one of the emoji things. So if you see the emoji, that means we're getting into spoilery territory, and it also means editing me. Hope you're doing okay, girl. I am so sorry for what I'm about to do to you. You are going to be putting a timestamp right here to let them know. You're also going to be timestamping. Hopefully you remember and you don't forget, and you know, life works out that you can also put that in the description so that it's already like chaptered for them. Please and thank you. It's for your besties, girl. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it because it's for your besties, and I'm gonna do my best to not make you do too much because self-care. Let's get into the book. I am enjoying. So that's the thing. Anyway, here's the emoji. And oh, my device is saying it's getting too hot because I'm exporting. Okay, well, I'm gonna try and speak as fast as I possibly can. A few things that I need to clear up. One, Pan is not necessarily the main character here. Two, the Greek gods and goddesses are not a part of this, even though I thought they probably potentially could be. And the underground kingdom is literally underground, so she can not only not see the sun, she can't see the moon or the stars. And so that was some stuff that I was a little confused on that I then later found out the answers to. So there's that. So where we left off, Ophelia found out that she was the reincarnated, kind of, sort of, Princess Moana. Basically, Princess Moana's spirit was eternal and lived on, even though she died in the mortal realm, like physically died. Her spirit is immortal, so it is now in Ophelia. And Ophelia now has met the creature that is a copy of Pan that was made by an artist in the underground realm before he seemingly passed. I think she has come across Pan's lookalike in this world, and also the creatures that are under his command. the little fairies. There are 3 of them apparently, and they are her like little guardians, and Pan's copycat creation gave her this book that was supposed to tell her what she has to do and the trials that she has to go through in order to get back to her underground realm. And we have started the trials. In fact, I have ended my reading last night at the last and final trial. And you guys, this is so gory. Like, for what I thought this book was marketed towards. This is like, oh, whoa, this is a lot. I can see why my mother and I thought that this movie was horror. It kind of is. It's kind of graphic. It's kind of, I mean, not overly so, but more than you would think. So one of the things that I said about this book is I loved the elevated language and kind of like the poetic feel of the book. It's not poetry, but it has that poetic vibe. It has that elevated, mystical, ethereal language going for it, which I think is amazing and perfect for the book and the vibes that we're going for here. Well, it also has that language and is quite blunt with the gore and the blood and the death. This world is over and above just not kind and not a place that you want to live and exist. However, the stories surrounding it, you can't help but follow. This is more than just a car wreck that you just can't look away from. This is a full-on fledged bursting into flames, multiple cars in a row, and you just can't get past them. You are barricaded in, you are here, you are watching, you are locked in, and there is no way that you can back out now because there are miles of cars behind you. And you are very close to the heat. And you can't get away from it. You can't not feel anything from it. You're just kind of stuck there, watching, waiting, praying the flames don't get to you. I should just cut it off right here. That was a pretty good way to say it for what I'm kind of feeling of this book without trying to go into too much of spoilery territory. I'm still gonna like put the emoji here because I feel like some of the things that I have just said, the things that I thought and then what we found out does lead to the spoilery territory. And I do think that the knowledge of Ophelia and the trials could potentially be spoilery, but it's just, it's a lot. The one scene that I have already done the little emoji thing for that I showed you guys in a past vlog, I'll insert it here. Pause here. If you guys are not okay with graphic violence of any kind, I would suggest skipping this portion of the video, editing me. This is the time where you really have to pay attention and you really have to shine with this, and you need to put the timestamp of after I say this warning, okay? Or let's do that, but then also just to remind ourselves, I'll put a little something right here. Well, what do we want? What are we thinking? If there's a little fairy, we'll put a little fairy here. Yeah, that's the best I got. Maybe a crown, something. We're gonna put an emoji up here. Something having to do with Pan. And if you see that emoji, I am talking about the graphic violent scene. If you do not see that emoji, I am no longer talking about it. And I feel like this may be a very sensitive one because I was so shocked when I read this. I guess trigger warning on that one. I don't think I've ever had a trigger warning on my channel before, but here's the first one. This man saw these 2 intruders, a son and a father, both like malnourished. Hadn't eaten in a while. They were claiming they were hunting rabbits, so they were poaching from the borders of his territory, or what he calls his territory, okay? It didn't belong to him initially, he just kind of came in and ransacked the place. So, technically, they're just poaching the poacher. Anywho, sees these two in front of him, delights in their fear. The little kid doesn't know to shut up so that it doesn't make it worse for him. And he doesn't. The father is sitting right there. He's trying to not anger the wolf, as we will call him, but he's also trying to like divert attention onto him so that his son doesn't get the worst of it. The man grabs a glass bottle, just rams it right into the son's eye, and keeps going. It crashes and splinters into glass, and he keeps going. None of his men interfere. The father's cries, it literally says this in the book, and this like breaks your heart a little bit. The father's cries are louder than the son's, who this is happening to. And as he's watching this happen to his son, the man pauses in the gouging out of the eye, flesh everywhere, blood is how it's described. Takes out his gun and shoots the father. And then the son is still alive and struggling, trying to figure out what's going on with his eye. And he shoots him in the chest too. Emoji over. That is the least of it. But not even just him. Like, the things that Ophelia is going up against is so interesting because the stories are interwoven, like the past and the present, and the two different worlds colliding in real time. Beautiful. Brilliantly done. The actual transitions of it, so beautiful and so, like, just so good. But the story itself is so disturbing. The trial that she has to go through, the first trial alone, having to go into this almost other world to come across a grotesque, larger than life-size toad whose saliva is poisonous to you, and you're seeing her like literally get almost overwhelmed by bugs and just the poison and what it's doing to her, basically burning her alive. Like, as the bugs are creepy crawly, and how she has to defeat this thing by allowing more pain from the toad's saliva. Like, she's already in pain, covered in something that is burning her, just creepy crawlies all over her, and almost blindly she reaches down to grab the stones that fell out of her pocket, covered in creepy crawlies, skin burning. I have to repeat this because it's so and picks it up and offers her hand, hoping that the stones are underneath all of the creepy crawlies, and just like offers him food. The tongue like circles and almost takes off the hand. It doesn't, but like just entirely engulfs the hand, takes the creepy crawlies. Skin burning, can't see anymore because the saliva and other stuff, like it's not just from the toad, it's also kind of just like in the atmosphere that she's in, because she's underground, she's in this like tunnel passage under the earth. Ugh. And then offers it up, he eats it, eats the stones. Ugh. She passes the trial, and she still has to endure the feeling of the creepy crawlies and the tongue surrounding her. The worst part is also that surrounding this entire first trial, apparently there's going to be like this big celebration, like the Capitan like is celebrating something, some type of win. And so he's having like important people over, and he's having his entire household get ready for that. And her mother gave her a dress, like a beautiful, gorgeous green dress and a white apron to wear to this thing. So she was already in it, went to the woods based on the book for the trial, took off the dress, mind you. So she was like in the undergarments underneath. So it kind of like that old-timey vibe of like having that. It's almost like in that one particular era where they had corsets and like the metal skirt thing. I'm gonna try and insert something to understand what I'm trying to say, like to show what I'm trying to say here. But it's kind of like that, but like it's less painful. So she's in that instead. She took off the stuff, but then when she comes out of the tunnel, it's raining and her clothes are not where she left them, and she finds them just muddied and dirtied and scratched through. She goes to her mom after this entire ordeal, mind you, of the creepy crawlies and the stinging venom, and her mother, who kind of, I have so many emotions about. Her mother, who has this ideology that men are security in this world, which already I have, looks at the dress, and instead of thinking, my daughter could have potentially gotten hurt, you know, clearly she's rain-soaked, she's muddy, her dress is scratched, maybe something happened, maybe I should be a mom in this situation and care about my kid. She gets mad at her for ruining the dress and for ruining her new father's reputation. Mind you, this man is called the Wolf. Hates women, tolerates his wife for the very purpose that she has a child, and the child is a male, and for some reason only a male child can carry on the legacy of a man. I kid you not. That is his thought process. Those were the words on the page, paraphrased. And this woman does not even love him. I don't even think she likes him. I think she pretends. I think she tries to delulu her brain because she just can't cope with not knowing what is happening right now and not being in control. So she tries to find the one thing that she thinks is right, which is completely wrong, and then clings to that like a lifeline. It's like those people who, no offense with what I'm about to say here, okay, no offense, but it's like people who are so convicted about a thing, or not convicted, who are so sure of a thing, like the world is ending in 2014. That's probably not the year. I'm just saying, like, I'm using a past year. The world is ending in 2014. Okay, we're in 2025 now, bud. So, do you still believe that? Yes, absolutely. The thing that was supposed to happen, yeah, that's going to be happening. And it did happen. It basically ended this world. And you're over here and you're sitting here and thinking, what? That makes no sense. But they are so sure. In fact, they double down. Okay? And I use that as kind of an example because that is a real thing that has happened. But there are other stances that people can take, unarguably wrong. Just wrong. But they double, triple down on it to the point where it's almost like they are going to convince themselves that this is indeed the case, because then what did I spend my entire life believing, thinking, doing for this thing? That's kind of what it feels like. That's what it feels like this mom is doing here. And so she sees her daughter arguably in a state that could look like something happened to her. And it did. But like it looked like something else happened to her than what actually happened to her. But she went through something. And the first thing that she gets to is the one person that she feels safe with telling her, how could you ruin the reputation of your new father? A man who is not her father. No, you can't even tell me no. He's not even a stepdad. Want to know why? Because he's not involved in her life at all. He hates her. He doesn't want her there. He gave the mom an out to give her to her grandparents, we later learn. And she said no. That is where I got so mad. I am so mad at her parenting choices for the majority of this book, but that was the choice where I was just like, woman, wee woo, red light, red flag, what are you? You had the chance. She had the chance. She had the chance. I don't get it. And the worst part is like knowing what happens afterwards. Are you actually kidding me? Because after this trial, she goes to the Fawn's lookalike and is like, I completed it. And she did. She completed it fantastically. Trial 2 comes around. The Fawn waits for a little minute to kind of talk to her about what is going on. But in the meantime, as her mother is sick and dying, gives her the antidote to help her. So she is in this other world, sickly, weak, near the verge of death, from the moment they got there. And she still believes that this man that caused all of that is going to save her and white knight this thing. Meanwhile, this man is killing people. And in the most diabolical, ruthless, inhumane way that one could ever think of. And he doesn't just stop at those poachers. No. He does it to a soldier. And you may be thinking, well, he's a soldier, so wouldn't that automatically make him do that? Well, maybe, but here's the thing. Those soldiers were right. He was wrong. And he is very, very specific with how he's going to torture this soldier. He's like, okay, so with this hammer, you're going to talk. With these pliers, I'm going to believe some things you say. And then with this screwdriver, I'll really believe anything that you say. An entire array of just random, normal, everyday tools as torture devices. This soldier, in the end, the horrific way that he was described, he was asking for death. The doctor gave it to him and then got shot in the back. That was also because he was a traitor, but also because of that, for defiance. That paired up with trial number 2, where, oh, guess what? We have a new villain whose name is the Pale Man. Sits at a table, a feast of sorts, sits there at his table holding his eyeballs. Ophelia does well for the first part of the trial in not touching anything, and then goes for 2 grapes. And I think that this is significant because there were 3 fairies at the start of this trial to help be her guardians. By the end, she had 1. At the cost of 2 grapes. And the violent depiction of how they went was bitten off heads. And not just stated like that. No, you got the imagery. of the blood spurting, the bones cracking. That is the world that we are reading. But that's not all, because when she gets back, her mom scolds her yet again, throws away the mandrake, and starts to immediately bleed. Gives birth to the son, and dies in childbirth, leaving Ophelia alone with a man who hates women. Hates. Yet another traitor is found out within the house. This time a maid and a woman. Her name is Mercedes. Her and Ophelia have a really good relationship built. Yeah, she gets played around with as prey. The predator lets her live for a time being, but then gets humiliated time and time again and decides he's not showing any mercy and he is done playing. Thankfully, though, so are the rebels. And so now we're getting a little bit more justice, but the world is still dark and cruel, and Ophelia is alone, and now she has to save her brother as well. Hi guys, welcome back to another reading update. It is Wednesday, and I do have some things to update you guys on. So I was in the middle of talking about Pan's Labyrinth, and I was cut off by my technology, and I'm going to be cut off by time here very shortly. So I'm just going to sum up the fact that Ophelia was having a lot of mixed emotions about her brother, realistically so. She was kind of going through feelings of like simultaneously blaming her brother for taking away her mother, but then also understanding that he had no choice to come into this world and that this was the actions of the wolf, and even maybe subconsciously starting to understand that maybe some of the consequences were because of her mother's choices. So, which is very mature thinking for this age, especially when we read, we really do see a younger than even preteen girl in the drawings. So I can only imagine that she's like between like maybe 9 and 11, but I'm personally thinking 10. 10 is just the age that I just immediately gravitated towards, and it also just, it makes sense with the way that she's able to so maturely think, but then also be so naive, so young, and so pure still. And so I'm just gonna go with that age and just say that if there is an actual age that is listed on Google, feel free to Google Pan's Labyrinth by Cornelia Funk, age range of Ophelia. So anyways, yeah, I had talked to you guys about literally having one more trial left to read about. You guys, last night I finished the book. I finished the third trial. I got the culmination of events, and it was dark. It was so dark. Like it ends the way that you would expect of Greek myth. And that makes sense because like I said, you know, I thought the other gods and goddesses or the pantheon of gods would somehow be mentioned here. They were not. This is a completely separate story. This is a very mortal-based story with immortal characters and references and storyline. So go into it just kind of expecting it to be its own story, because it truly is. There are so many stories interwoven and interconnected for the main players that we see. So we see the main players at center stage, and then we get like little mini side quest adventures of how these characters came to be, and then referencing other people, and then also those other people being referenced in a lineage, which just kind of gives context, gives a little bit more oomph to the story, which is so amazing because honestly, this book is packed, chock full of information, and quite frankly, I mean, you know, let me show you the fonts here. It's very fast-paced, large font, huge margin read, so it is like less real estate that is being used up, but still so much information, so much context, so much beef within the story, so much meat in there and substance. And it's just written in flowery, poetic language that really just fits the vibe of what this world is supposed to be about. So I greatly appreciate that. So I have finished this book. We have achieved the capital of Panem, which is to read a book with the over-the-top cover. And you guys, we won something from the last leg of the race, another power card. So I officially have 8 power cards in my arsenal. And guess what? I have 8 destinations that I can use these on. So I am filled to the brim in my arsenal for the rest of these challenges. And this is really good because also I discovered another book that I brought with me that I am going to use for the like switch a book prompt power up card, and that is Alice in Wonderland. I'm probably going to be using it for maybe The Wall or something like that, because unfortunately, as much as I would love to get to Pet Sematary, I don't think that those books are going to be super fast paced for me. And I've already started the book for what's Destination 2? I've already started the book for Basgith, which is to read a book with a violent word in the title. We're working on Destination 2. I'm probably going to have to bite the bullet and just use one of the book switches because I need to get through all of the legs in order to get to sightsee and stuff and maybe get to add more points, and also just allow myself to read at a decent pace and probably get one more book in, and it's probably going to be If We Were Villains by ML Rio. So I don't know, I'll keep chugging along at that one and we'll see what happens. And we finally, on leg 9, I have already read that book. Oh wait a second, I am going to give this, I don't know, I am going to be giving Pan's Labyrinth 5 stars. As I said, I started to read the book for the prompt of read a book that has a romance featured in it, and that is the destination for this leg 9, and I have indeed finished it. I finished it in less than an hour, and I finished Heartstopper Volume 5. Is anyone actually surprised? I love it, and it's getting a 5 star from me. It just, the things that I could say, the things that I could truly say about this book, but all of it would be spoilery. My phone is yelling at me for low storage, and I do need to actually go to small group now, and I will be starting to read on some more books. So I will just keep it at, it was amazing. I loved it. 5 star contender for the goddess tier. That's all I'm gonna say. Alrighty. I will catch you guys up in the next reading update, either later tonight or tomorrow before work. Probably the second choice because that's usually how it goes, but we shall see. See you guys in a bit. Hi guys, good morning. We are coming down to the home stretch here. So I actually looked at the calendar and I did some calculations. So this is gonna be the last full weekly, I guess if you could call it that, reading vlog. We have some reading updates. So we've gotten further along in Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I am hopeful that we're going to be able to finish it by the end of the month to get Ketterdam, but also I am realistic and I know myself, so at least I'll get the 50% and I'll still be able to get the postcard for Ketterdam, and I'll be able to finish this off next month. But I did finish another book, and that was the Tarot Cafe Volume 1. I am hoping to get to Volume 2 today. This was a reread. I gave it 5 stars. The vibes, the context, the world building, the images, the plot throughout, and just the extra attention to detail, I think truly just puts this just above and beyond what I normally think of when I think to look at a manga or a comic or graphic novel or whatever we're calling it these days. What I really like about this book too, that I didn't think I would like in literature at all, is that this entire book is the setup for Volume 2. And like, that probably sounds like a duh, hello, it's part of a series, but Truly, there is nothing about our main character that is said except for that she is clairvoyant. She has supernatural customers after hours. She does own a cafe though during the day, so she is able to blend in with us normal human beings, but she does serve supernatural clientele and she is clairvoyant. She can see the future, she can see what is happening, and we get a lot of humanity from her in the little moments that we see her, but we get more depth and more context of the characters that she is helping. Characters that I do believe, based on the endings, are not going to be in the second book, or the second book. It's still a book. Sorry, my brain is gone. So I didn't think I would appreciate that in books, but honestly, I'm kind of here for it for this story because it's done well. It's giving us context, it's giving us setup. I know I said recently about one book, specifically The Cruel Prince, where I was just like, it felt like it was incomplete, it was unfinished, it was getting us to that climactic moment and then it ended at the climax instead of finishing it out and rounding out the story with a nice little bow for us, even though you could still have an ending where it is going to be continued, and it's obviously going to be continued. You can still wrap up the first book with a nice ending to give some sort of closure for the reader, at least, so that if the reader doesn't want to continue, it's not like we're missing out on anything. The literal main reason I bought the second book was because I'm nosy and I want to know what happens. And sure, that is a good, I guess, marketing strategy and a good business strategy, I guess, for your writing, but it's also just kind of annoying when it happens because it's like, are you kidding me? Come on. Like, let's round out a good story, but leave it entertaining enough to want to pick up the second book, you know? I have been having a ritual of just like reading at night recently, and I have been really loving that, so I don't know. I'm hoping that continues. I'm not gonna force it, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just like, hey, if I read, and I've been reading, so I'm not mad about it. So I do think I'll get further along in Six of Crows, which is really good because we have some updates on the strategy. So let's get into strategy because it's going to be quick. It's not going to be like it was earlier on in the week, but I gave you guys this entire strategy. And last night I edited week 3 for the Amazing Readathon for the vlog and uploaded it. And I realized I made a very interesting choice the week prior and completely forgot about it like 3 days later when I filmed the first day for week 4. So let me show y'all my little blunder here. This is how chaotic this has gone. It went from The Wicked King by Holly Black to Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which I completely forgot about, by the way, to If We Were Villains by Emma El Rio, which I did start and I actually do love, and I hope to continue it for next month, to now I am using a special power card that we got during our gameplay. So I have quite a fair few power cards in my arsenal. Yeah, I got a power card, this power card, and it just allows me to skip any prompt that I like, as long as it's not the current leg. Y'all, we're on leg 9. It's fine. When we actually got that, I think it was leg 8 or 7. Listen, I'm not anywhere close to that. So we used it for stop number 2. So I don't know if I technically get that postcard, but I'm gonna act like I got the postcard. Well, no, actually, because it's skipped and I didn't do anything for it. So I guess I don't get Basgeith, which is fine. Honestly, would not survive in that world. Could never. Would never be me. So that's fine. That is the plan. That's what we're doing. And I need to head out and go to work. I actually am gonna be leaving a little bit early because I am going to get one of those little party blower things from the dollar store. because I just hit 100 followers on TikTok and I celebrate the small milestones, baby. The party blower thing is going to be a featured staple for every single milestone. My phone is yelling at me for low storage, so I'm gonna sign off now, head to work, and I will see you guys for another update. Okay, bye. Hi guys, reading update time, and also interesting angle because I'm having to use my arm for the tripod because my car mount is having a time and a thing. I'm just letting it have its temper tantrum right now. So I just wanted to update you guys that I did indeed read a little bit yesterday, and I read If We Were Villains by ML Rio. I got through the prologue and then scene 1, I believe, because it's all out in different scenes. I'm very intrigued. I did not think this book was going to be what it was. I mean, I read the back of the book for sure, so I knew kind of what it was going to be about, but the opening scene in the prologue is literally not what I expected. Like, I just wasn't expecting this angle, but you know what? I am loving it. And then I started reading Act 1, Scene 1, and I have some thoughts on these characters already. It's giving a lot of used tropes and themes and plot pieces, but I am here for it because I've never really seen it used this way. I also brought some books to read today as well. So I brought the Tarot Cafe Volume 1, the Tarot Cafe Volume 2, and I brought If We Were Villains by ML Rio, and I'm just going to see how far I can get in those things. I do have a video, actually one of the vlogs for these readathons. I don't know which vlog I'm on currently. I think it's 3. I have to edit that for Saturday. I mean, I don't have to, but I want to. I am going to edit that video for Saturday to get it up on time and scheduled, so I have that. I also have a video for my lifestyle channel where I'm doing the very popular hyped trends a long time ago, but the what I spend in the week challenge, and there's a little bit more substance in there and a little bit more reasoning for the why that I did that. So watch the video to find out. I'll leave it linked in the description box down below because I do believe that video is going to be out before this vlog is. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave it linked below for your viewing pleasure. So yeah, but I did go through Starbucks before coming to work because I wanted a little sweet treat, and I haven't had a Starbucks in quite some time. It's actually been over a week at least, probably longer than even that because of the sickness. So yeah, momentous occasions all around, but I do need to get into work now. I just thought I would update you guys on the reading, let you guys know, yes, I have been doing some. I haven't gotten any other destinations or any other like submissions in than what I told you guys. I actually forgot to tell you guys about a submission for doing like a little ritual before you read. I don't have a ritual before I read because I read sporadically and just whenever I can, but if I can, I like to get me a little bevy, some ambiotic music according to whatever it is that I'm reading, and just read. And I did that, so I submitted that. So I may be getting points, I may not be. I only like tell you guys if I for sure get points for my team. Otherwise, like some of the stuff that we do, it's literally just submit it. Whichever team submits the most, the top team gets the points. So like I've never shared really the points behind it because we've never really won. I think we won this one though because we also won a power-up card, so that's why I'm saying it now, because that would be 50 extra points for the team. So yes, we'll count that in the point tally for this week. And I do need to be heading into work though, so I will let you guys know about my reading on break if there is any. If not, hope you guys enjoy the montage, and or I'll see you guys tomorrow. So bye.